Welcome back by the second part of the Q3 QGIS Q3 course. QQ course, you could say.
Q-cohort. Nee, geen Q-cohort.
Erik has some more amazing things for you ready.
Well, not really amazing, but there was a few questions that I think that we could work a bit more with. And I start with the LISA data, and I just have a sample of the LISA data here for this area, which is probably big enough already to work with. Yeah, it's 220,000 entries already, so it's a nice set. Okay, so we've got the LISA data set here, and one of the question was that if I filter data and I want two different classes, then it shows you no classes at all. So let's give that a go. And the issue here is, let me see, filter. The issue here is that you can use SQL filters, but they are, well, you have to know a bit about these filters of how they work. For example, let's go for another question that we had here, and that we can do that at the same time, is that if you look at 4311 and 4332, that is demolition of buildings, I guess, and construction of buildings or something like that. And the question was, is it the actual location where demolition will take place, or is it where the company is set up? So let me first, and I can answer that question using the filtering as well. So what I do is I select this, and I could also select the other one. So I'll check, and this is my second. So I've got two statements here. It could be SBI code 4311 and 4332. Now, currently, this is not a valid expression because it is an expression and another expression, and there should be something combining these two. The question I got was, if I use both filters, it will give me no result whatsoever. And that is correct, because there is only one value valid in every point. So if you're looking at one point, it has one value, and you're asking it, please data set, give me all the objects in the data set that have this value and also have this value, but it just has one value. So if you're combining these two, and you said both of these statements have to be true, this one should be true and this one should be true, well, then of course you have an empty collection. So in this case, it's better to use OR. And that means that this one should be true or this one should be true. Okay. Now, if you look at that way, then you see that that is a pretty big difference. I see Patrick unlocking the screen, so he probably has a question for me.
No, that was the question for my group, I believe. Because we were using and now realized that it was kind of stupid to use that as and or were the right one. But do you have to
call it stupid, Patrick? I would call it, this is a very common mistake that I see quite a lot of times, because if you ask it someone, you say, can you give me that, and you'll get both things. So it's
no stupid for me, because I kind of already have experience a bit with C++, but is it possible, do I have to write again the field CSBI, or is it enough if I write CSBI equals 4311 or 4332? So that I have everything in one line, and it's kind of
that is it's you can do something similar, but not exactly that way. Because if you use an or, that means that this should be a complete statement and this should be a complete statement.
All right. Yeah.
There is another way of doing that, and that is, for example, you could do in and then brackets, and you can say 4311, comma 4332.
Okay. Yeah.
This works too, but this is and there's a lot of more things. I'm now just using in and or and, but SQL has a lot of different options and available here. So yeah, but this one should work as well.
Okay, great. Thank you. That resolves a lot of things.
Welcome. So we have now, if we're not mistaken, we have, this is just off my screen, check. Oh, it's just not wide enough, that's it. So we have here the SBI. I'll now use the SBI and not the C SBI because I don't want the code. This is, one is, well, bouwtimmeren, yeah. Building and one is tearing down. Let's put it make it simple. Well, let's have a look. Where should we tear things down? Here I see that here on the Paxlaan, there's something here. There's one. Let's make this marker a bit bigger. I don't think this is a place that you'd like to tear down. See if there's something else here. No, I don't think anyone would appreciate it if you would take one house out. So I guess this is the place where the company is. And of course that corresponds to the data as well, because this is data about companies and how many people live there, or how many people work in a company. So it is not unlikely that there is a company here that does this kind of work. So if you're looking for locations where buildings are being demolished, perhaps, it might be a good idea to use the Bach data set again and look for the sloopvergunning verleend. The what's that in English? Deconstruction permit or something like that. Demolish well, it's permit to get it done. That might be the best way to find that. So here, what we did was we did a filter. Different ways of doing filters. Most simple one to use is just use the is between those two lines. If you have a multiple selection, basically this is the most simple approach. Just put every different statement in a different line and start typing, or if you want both things to be true, type and. That is the simplest approach of doing this. And if you are feeling confident with it, use in a lot and other things. You could make a nice combination here as well. Let's try that as well. Another thing I could do, I just cleared the whole situation, so we got everything again. What you could do is, for example, if you have this SBI class and you're looking for everything green. Oh, I should do all here. That's right. And you're looking for everything green. So for example, vegetable shops or whatever. You could use this and just make sure to put a comma between all the values. And I could just click them and put a bracket, and now I have only things, shops or companies. Let's make this bigger again. That have something to do with the word groen, green. So here there's a shop in potatoes, vegetables and fruits. Well, let's have a look. Yep, that's in the Goorstraat. That's the fruithuisje. There's one here. Probably most of the people who live in Delft know this one because you always bike through this this area. Yep, so there you have it. Okay, so we answered 2 questions here, how to select, how to filter, and everything. The filtering is important, by the way, because it will allow you to make calculations on data and not have it in some way have some interference with different objects. So for example, these 2 classes, these 2 categories that we made here are no longer in the data set because I filtered them out because it never starts with or has something to do with groen somewhere in the name. So if I switch this one off, it will be totally empty. There's nothing in these 2 categories now. So this filtering is important. Then there was this question, how do you merge different SBI codes in one layer? So I was thinking of what that question actually meant, because I could imagine that you have this one now, this set with everything that has to do with something green. And I have this part selection now. What I could do is just export these features. I've got them filtered already. So that means that if I put this back to, I think I have this, whatever, I'll just make a new geo package here. I call this selection. And I'll call this selection groen, because that was my criteria for this. I could now save it as a separate layer. And this one should now be only the points that I have filtered before here. Now, if I switch off the filter here now, I clear the filter, and I've got everything again. You see that all the points are still there, but my selection that I exported is still only the selection. I did that now using a filter, but I could also do that using a selection, of course. So for example, if we go to this demolition firms again, I could make a selection. Well, I use this button here for a selection using an expression. So very similar as what we did before. I'll just go to the CSBI and that was, what was it? 4311, I guess. Okay, so I've got this selection now. I see there's a few yellow dots, not too many. There's, oops, here you can see there's 373 features selected. I could also now do something similar as what I did before with the filter, and I could just export the selected features. I'll put that in the same selection geo package, but now I'll call this one slopers. I could make it in that. It's perhaps a more positive way of naming them. So now I've got different data sets for different selection, and this is one single one. Here I made a selection of 5 or 6 categories and combined them together. So I hope that answers the question of how to merge different SBI codes in one layer. Clusters show you how close different shops are together and not showing different types of clusters. Yep. Good, Johan. Clusters. Yep, there was one thing. Clusters show you how close different shops are together and not showing different types of clusters. No, that is true because, but you could use what we just did to make new clusters. In this case, I first selected what I'm interested in, kind of shop, kind of thing, everything green, just the demolition companies. And I could use the clustering on one of these layers now. So what I would suggest is if you are interested in clusters of small shops, clusters of specific shops, and you want to divide these in different clusterings, is first to split up your data set and make an export of your data for the thing you're interested in, and then run your clustering on that specific data set. I think that would be the best way of doing this.
I believe this one was also one of our questions. The main thing we wanted to show is like if a cluster, because we wanted to see the diversification of different kinds of shops in the cluster. So because the cluster shows how far they are from each other if they are close enough, but it doesn't show if they're, for example, a cluster of 5 bakeries. We wanted to see the diversification in the cluster.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't came up with a function how to select that, but because I was working with the heat maps and they do not use as you use a heat map, you cannot really play around with many functions. That was the thing. If there is a way to see it, if a cluster is more or less diversified.
Like that, right? Team 10 did something like that. They split up their data, then made their heat maps, and then combined them again.
Yeah, maybe that's the easiest solution. And it's.
And as I said, I've never seen that before, but you could use it for something like this. Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
What my idea would be that if you were looking for diversification in clusters, what you could do is you could count the different types of shops. So if there's 5 types of shops, there's 10 shops, but indeed there are 5 bakeries and 5 other shops. So you just have 5 or 6 different categories of shops within those 10. You could combine those two together, those values together, and count the unique values in that cluster. And I think that so the where's that? You can sort them by cluster number, because if you cluster, then every object gets a cluster number, and if the cluster numbers are identical, that means that is one cluster. And you could summarize over over that selection, and that way you could, for example, count unique values in using cluster as a combiner.
Yeah, what you're suggesting is like it should do a cluster for every bakery, butchery, and so on. So for the different kinds of shops, and then join the information of them. But then the number.
No, I'm suggesting something. I'm suggesting that, for example, if this is by proximity, this is one cluster.
Yeah.
And there's a few shops in a few different shops types, that you could use this as a selector and count within this selection, count all the unique values of the different shop types. So that you can see there's 20 shops here, but there's just 6 shop types. Or you could have another cluster, which is 20 shops, but it's 18 shop types. So there's a lot more diversity in that cluster than in this cluster. So I was thinking along those lines, but yeah.
Okay, I will try.
You could probably do both. One of the things where you can have a look at that is the processing toolbox. And the processing toolbox, there is see, is that count?
Count. Yeah.
Count points in polygon, no. Count statistics by categories, I guess that is.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and then what you could do is, I think a category is, for example, a cluster here. So you could calculate statistics, for example, on the SBI code. So you know what kind of shop you have, and you use as categories. You point, for example, then to the cluster number.
Yeah, yeah.
So that within that cluster number, all things will be counted. And per cluster number, that will be a statistic value again.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
something like that you could go, but it depends very much on what you're looking for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I think this might work in my case, because it's just about this kind of diversification inside the real clusters and where they are.
I must say there is a lot in these vector analysis tools. There are some things that I have never used before, and when I look for something, and sometimes you find some tool and you think, okay, let's give this a go. And there's always, for in this case, there's always the option to look at the help, by the way,
Mm-hmm.
which will bring you to the help file for the QGIS docs. And it will give you some more information, sometimes better information than other situation. Here, this is not really great explanation. I mean, this is pretty technical description.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's more elaborate. Okay, this is not a very nice one, but the help does, and the docs, and there's this is doc, but this probably if you're looking for, oh, here basic statistics for fields, yeah, it's kind of technical description in this area, yeah. Well, okay, let's not go here now. Okay, so that is filtering. Now there was someone else, I guess it was someone else, but I'm not sure now anymore, Patrick, who was asking for how do I want to remove the dots that are not within the province of South Holland.
Oh, that was me.
See?
That wasn't. Yeah. That wasn't.
Oh, it wasn't. Oh,
I did that. Yeah, I already did that.
Okay, so you have your area that you're looking for, and that could be for example, the province of South Holland. So I'm looking again at my data sets. Let's have a look. I've got the provinces here, geopackage of provinces here. So everything, of course, my basic data here is all in South Holland. So let's take the larger area. Let's not go for these selections. I'll add the original data here as well with from the file database, which has everything. Right. So now we have more data. We have all of the Netherlands here. Here you can see, by the way, this is interesting. You know why this hole was here? Here you see Utrecht, Gelderland. Now South Holland comes in, and hey, but this is weird.
Municipality moves to another province.
Yeah, I think it was 3 years ago or something. Mm-hmm. Some of this changed.
Vijf hier in landen.
Yeah, it changed hands.
Anyway, to see this in the data indeed.
You can still see the bloop. Okay, so now we know that looking at the provinces, that most of it is, of course, now outside of South Holland. And well, there are a few things that you could do. For example, I could just cover everything up. And I'll show you how to cover everything. I'll make I'll use a small trick here. First, I'll make sure that I filter out only South Holland. where's my filter again? Here. So, right, I only have Zuid-Holland now. And the next thing I do is that I put Zuid-Holland on top. So now it covers the wrong thing, exactly the wrong thing. But what I could do is just change the layer styling for the provinces from a single symbol to a inverted polygon. Right, I don't see any other points now anymore. Okay, this is really ugly. I know. Maybe this helps. But it's still, the data is still there. So it's, yeah, you're not cleaning your data or something. You're just covering everything that is outside. And here you see the dots that are cut off by the border. Yeah, might not be the best way it is, but it is an option and it's really fast. So what you could do is a second option is make a selection again. So what I could do is I select the Lisa points that are within the province. Let's give this one back to single symbol. Now it's here again. I'll put it underneath Lisa. What I could do is use a select by location here. Oh, by the way, this is nowadays from, I think, starting 316, QGIS 316, there's a fourth selection button here, which is the same one as this one, the select by location. So we've added a button. Yay. Go QGIS. I select features from the Lisa, the total one, so that's this one, that intersect the provinces. Make a new selection, run, and then it should select all these. And I can export the data again. Export the selected features. Give it a nice name, nice location. So I'm not hiding all the other points. I'm just not using them because I make an export of the original data with only the things that I'm interested in. That is a second way of doing things. And what you could also do, which might be interesting, is that you can, if you don't want to export your data because you still want to keep all the data because you might need it at a next step in your analysis, for example, you could also make a spatial join so that you add to every point an extra field filled with the name of the province that it's in. And then you make a filter again, but then on the Lisa dataset saying, I just want province names Zuid-Holland to be shown and nothing else. Now, if you want that, it's called, the generic name is a spatial join, but I think it is join attributes by location. So what you could do is join attributes by location, pick the Lisa data, join the provinces that intersect, and just join only one field, the name. Okay. And that means that you have the whole database, but it adds all the province names. And by the way, in this case, it would just add the name of Zuid-Holland to the points in Zuid-Holland because I still filtered all the other provinces out. So in this case, it would make no difference. Yeah, of course, you could have Zuid-Holland, but no other provinces. I'm not doing that because it's too much data, I guess, to do fast. But you get the hint here. Let's see, Marit. For some reason, my filter looks really different for the data of provinces. Could you maybe help me in the break or after lecture? I could. We could also have a look at it, how it looks, because the data of the provinces, I might have a totally different provinces data set than you have. My data set, apart from the filtering, and I will clear the filter again, because my data set is a relatively empty data set. This is the only thing I have in my data set. So if it looks different because my data set is different, that makes sense. If it is different because the whole filtering
it selects really differently. It seems like I have to write my own SQL code, but for another data set, it does show the same way you do, or you have.
So which one do you use? Which filtering? Or same one here?
Yeah, just the same one.
Yep. And you have a different query builder here.
Yeah.
Which version of QGIS are you using, by the way?
Oh, that's a good question. I think the newest version for Mac.
Okay, so that should be 3.16 or 3.18 if you download
18, it. Yeah, it's 18.
Huh, interesting.
I will have a look. I'm downloading 3.18 now. It's installing, so I can have a look what's different there.
Yeah,
well, if you can screen share, we could have a look at as well.
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
I'll stop share, and probably you can share now.
You should be able to share.
Mm-hmm. Let me see.
Yeah.
I think you can see.
Yep.
So it shows the SQL query bower instead of the filter one you have.
This is the one I always see when I'm looking at a WFS.
It's an other type of layer you're looking at. And that's
I guess so, yeah. So your provinces, are they local data or are they service?
I don't know.
You ought to. If you close this,
let's have a look.
SQL builder, can you close it? Because then we can see your layers. And I think I already see that the layer type is different there.
Yeah.
Well, if I look at this, I see that you see the type name is bestuurlijke grenzen provincies from a URL. So you're looking at the WFS service now, but that's no problem at all. So let's right click on this one, and then choose export data, exporteren, objects. Yep, save objects, and you can make a local geo package somewhere.
Okay.
Or a shape file, but a geo package is fine.
Okay.
Just use the three dotted, the button on the right with the three dots.
No, right up. Yeah.
Yep. And there you can look at where you want to.
Okay.
Where you want to save your data to. Yep. Test is fine.
Okay.
Yep.
And then it should work.
Just do OK. Yep. And if you right click this one and filter this one, it will probably give you the same filter that I have.
Then it should be the same.
Yeah, or something similar at least. There you go.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, this is similar. Okay, great.
Yep.
Yeah. That solves a lot of problems. Yeah.
And this is something I couldn't have found without you screen sharing, because otherwise I wouldn't have known where to start. So thank you for sharing. Yep.
Yeah, thanks for explaining.
Did you use the same data set for the provinces? It's the same bestuurlijke grenzen, because there are two sets. There's one set with water and one set where water is separated.
Yeah, and I used the one where the water is separated here.
Yeah,
you can see. Otherwise, this would be just one big blob here.
Exactly.
So Zeeland is the province that I'm always checking to see what happens. I mean, here it's weird anyway, because you don't see the rivers. And actually, this is part of the sea, I'd say. Well, okay, so let's go back to my program again. Let's have a look. So I've got the spatial filtering. So if you want a spatial filter, there is no such thing as a literal spatial filter, but what you could do is what I just showed. You could use the very ugly cover it all up method, or select the points within a province and then export them as a separate data set. And the third option that I mentioned was you could make a spatial join where all the provinces come as an extra field joined to your LISA data set, and then you can make a filter again on your LISA data set. So let's have a look. There's one in the chat. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yes, I think I answered that question before I read it. Nice. So next is sharing of data. There were some questions. What time is it? Oh yeah, 10 to 20 past. There were some data sharing questions as well. How can I share my data in a way that I don't lose my styling when it's opened on another laptop? And I guess that is a really important question, because there's always data to transport, but how about your styling? I mean, you made this nice map of it, the nice symbology and everything, and you lose your styling as soon as you export your data. So yeah, that's important. I'll just make an example of that using the provinces. For example, in this case, I use the provinces and I categorize them by name. What's the name? And now I've got this beautiful map of the Dutch provinces. It's excellent. I'm so happy with it. I want to share the data, including the styling that I just made. Maybe I could add something to that. I could add an extra label to that with the name of the province in it. And of course, in a different font, because this is a terrible font. No, not MSU Gothic, Corporate Gothic. Whatever. Yep, beautiful. So I've got this map and I want to include the styling in the export as well. Don't ask me how I got this font, by the way. So I've got this here, the provinces. You see my styling, there's the labeling. The simplest way of doing this, or the way that works in all cases, is to export your style as well. So if you go to your symbology tab on your layer properties, there's hidden here somewhere down below, there's a style button and you can save your style. And I was actually a bit surprised that it isn't in the layer styling side panel that I always use nowadays. Yeah, I see Stefan looking like, oh, why is that not there? Yeah.
Why is it so hidden? I use this many times, so.
So in the layer properties, there's the style button and here's the save style. And then I could choose what I want to save. So at least the symbology should be there in the labels, and all the other things. Yeah, sure. I didn't use any of them, but just copy everything. And there's two options here. Oh, three nowadays. Oh yeah, three. The third I want to show you as a separate one, as a QGIS QML style, the QGIS markup language style file, or as a styled layer descriptor. And the styled layer descriptor, or SLD file, you should only use those if you have a different GIS package, especially GeoServer, if you serve your data on the web, because that uses SLDs, and QGIS by default uses QMLs, and QML really supports everything that QGIS has. The SLD is a bit, it's a different technique, so there's always something lost in translation there. So just use the QML, and you could save that somewhere, but preferably near your data. And for example, if you have a shapefile and the shapefile is called provincies, that means that if you have a provincies.qml file there, it will automatically read that styling file as well. But in this case, I could save it anywhere, any location. I'll put it on the desktop. I'll call that provincie style. Using Dutch and English again, messing up. So now my style is saved. That means that if I mess up my style now, for example, because I go back to single symbols again, and I use no, and I did something wrong with my labels, that means that I could now easily go back here, load the style file again, find that file. It's probably here somewhere. I'll open it, load it, and there you go. You got it back. So that is one way. So if you're exporting data, you can just add a QML file to that, and that will go automatically. The second way is, of course, the whole symbology is also stored in your QGIS project. So if you give your QGZ file, your product save file, just QGZ file, if you give your project file as well next to your data, in that case, well, you've got all your styling there as well. And the third option is that you could, if you have your data in a geo package, but only if you have your data in a geo package, you can save your style with your in your geo package. So, wrong button, sorry. So if I save it to the geo package now, and I just call this one ugly colors, or whatever name, it is saved now to the geo package. That means that if I remove this layer and if I load it again, where was that? It will not automatically come up with that because it is in the geo package. I could show you that as well. Let's go for the geo package. Where's that one? Oh, it's in the data CBS. I'll connect to a new, no, why am I doing this? I can just use the browser. So my data CBS provinces, and you see there should be a, oh, this is my data. Yeah, okay. It should be there as well. And I am doing the wrong thing because I'm adding a layer. Okay, I think it's very, very much nearing time for a break again now. Yeah, I thought it would have been here. Ah, that's interesting. I'm messing up again.
You messed up.
Yeah,
put it on the wrong place.
Okay, but so but as you saw, as you noticed, when I just reloaded the provinces again, just drag and drop the geo package in my QGIS project, it immediately came up with this lovely layout again. Well, next, apart from questions about this topic, of course, these were all the questions that I received beforehand. So we're next 2 blocks, we're really looking forward to your new and other questions that we could, because so far my preparation goes and the rest will be fully live and flipped. So okay. Prepare your questions.
So please submit questions during the break.
Yep.
things we need to elaborate, explain, other things which you might think are important for you. We've touched the main topics now, I think, and then we could also show a bit more about the atlas or the time data. And otherwise, I suggest that we go through the project and that we ask you to explain a bit more about your project to other people. Yeah. Because we might have some questions as well for you, why you did it, or what came out, or why you did it that way. So, can we do it that way?
That would be nice too.
Yeah, because I think a lot of work was delivered, so it would be great to go through that and then discuss what's there. So be prepared to show your work, explain your work to the group.
Yeah, and let's not forget that as I started with the first thing I said from the Miro board was that there was some really nice examples there as well, and you did some excellent work throughout the project. So yeah.
Okay.
Kind of happy.
See you all after the break.
After the break.